The concept of benchmarking, while that probably seems like it's very new to a lot of people, in reality it really isn't. And I know when we were working on the magazine article, you mentioned to me that 10 years ago when you were working with a large CRO, you had clients coming to you and asking about it. But it certainly seems like it's being talked a lot more about now than maybe it was back then. Do you have insights into why you think that this is now a more popular concept, I guess, than it was in years past?
Yeah, I think the industry is evolving, and our protocols are actually getting a little more complex. The therapeutic areas we're working in and rare diseases are becoming more popular. Country footprint is expanding. All of that, we do multiple analyses on an ongoing basis to look at what's generating the cost, what are the major drivers of cost. All those things I mentioned are part and parcel of where our cost drivers are. It's really where we're conducting the studies, the level of complexity of the types of trials we're doing, and even the numbers of patients at sites. In these rare diseases, or even in the field of oncology, which many companies are working in, you find that there are less patients per site that are enrolling, and less patients the prevalence is lower, and or the ability to find the patients who can fit into your trials is lower. And so all of this drives cost in trials. And so I think as such, many companies are looking at ways to ensure we know what we're asking for, so we know what the assumption should be and how we're going to operationalize, and then we know what we're getting. And so I think benchmarking, while it has been around, and I've actually maybe even 10, 15 years ago had discussions that when I was at a CRO with vendors that I had, when we, and I would say even I'm aging myself now, more than 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, we went into unit price trials, whereas before it was more of a dedicated model that you then had to look at, do you benchmark? Are there particular benchmarks? And I think it's just evolved over time. So it's not something that is new, it's just coming more into popularity because of the need to really look at more efficient ways to conduct trials. I think today a program to get a drug to market is over $2 billion. And so with those costs, there's always a need in discussions, especially here at Regeneron, as to how do we keep costs down, run trials with quality and efficiency, and then increase the number of trials we can run. John or Reb, do you have any thinking from your side? I guess Reb, I've worked with you actually years ago when we were actually working on the potential to benchmark when you were at BMS.
Yeah, Barry, and I think all the points you made are really valid and spot on. The one thing I would probably add to this is that keeping the benchmark data current is really important, because the overall clinical ecosystem has changed a lot over time. I mean, markets that we used to think were naive aren't naive anymore, and there's a lot of new technology out there and a lot of new methodologies, such as RBM, for instance. So with all of these things that are evolving, you have to keep it fresh, and you need to have more current data. And if you're able to have that information, then you can kind of engage with your CRO partners in an objective manner, as opposed to kind of relying on subjective information. So that's the one thing I just wanted to add to that. John, anything else?
No, I think you both covered it quite well.